right.
Good to go.
We are going to call this regular February Town Council meeting to order at 6:03 on February 20th. Do roll call first. Jackie Bryant,
Present.
Jason Ramey,
Here.
Ashley Cheney is here, Jessica Jones and Mike Peters are absent. Town Attorney Jacob Bowman,
Here.
Clerk Treasurer Donna Moore.
Here.
Okay, at this time we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We need to do a public, it's not on the agenda, but I need to open it for the public first, right?
It's
on
on
my
there.
agenda.
Oh, it's just later?
It's after the.
Oh, I see it,
minutes.
okay.
So, three, if you have any, and this is actually a good thing Donna's implemented this year, so kudos to her. If you have any modifications to the agenda that weren't on there when this was sent out, you can make a motion to modify the agenda to add that item,
Okay,
under new business. If you don't, you can also make a motion to just approve the agenda as presented, and we'll move forward, item by item. So, however you wanna handle it.
okay.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
What?
You'll move to approve the agenda as presented.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made by Ashley and seconded by Jackie, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Okay,
first-
that motion passes 3-0. So we need to approve the January 22nd, 2026 Town Council meeting minutes.
I make a motion to approve the January 22nd meeting minutes.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made by Jason, seconded by Jackie, all in favor say aye.
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 All right, that is approved 3-0. Do we have anything not on the agenda?
We're good.
Nope.
Nope, we'll
Okay.
take care of that.
At this time, we'll open the floor to comments from the public for a total of 15 minutes. Do we have any comments from the public? No? All right, we'll close the public time. Now we're going to review the financial reports. The February docket is up first.
Make a motion to approve the APV general at $135,089.70.
I'll second that. Motion made and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, now we have the APV water for $44,772.86.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made by Jason, seconded by Jackie. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, approved 3-0. And lastly, we have wastewater $66,896.72.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made by Jason and seconded by Jackie. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that's approved 3-0. It doesn't appear that we have any wastewater credits or utility billing information or any old business, so we'll move right along to new business. So LWG Advisors did a 2026 water rate study.
Bob?
You here to talk to us about that?
Yes, I am.
Okay, perfect.
I brought does everybody have copies of the study, or I brought copies for you to have?
Let's
Thank you.
So my name's Bob Reynolds. I'm with LWG CPAs and Advisors, and we were engaged to do a study on your water rates and charges. And I was just gonna do kind of a short walkthrough of our study, kind of the high level, what we do, how we do it, and kind of where we got to. I won't bore you with walking through every single schedule. That's good. Good things to do if you can't sleep at night. But really our process when we do these studies is we pick a 12-month period that ends up being what's called a test year. The test year is the 12-month period that we look at when we say, okay, this is the time period that we're looking at when we look at revenues and expenses of the utility. Then we look forward-looking, so we look at the test year's averages and everything that happened, and we forward look to set what's called the pro forma financials. And the idea there is we are making what's called known and measurable changes to the test year to kind of smooth everything out and make it equal what your future expenses would be. So for example, the test year for this study, since the timing, we were able to do 12/31/2025. So then we kind of try to true up that prior year to what your forward-looking budget's gonna be, salary expenses and so forth. So I really just wanted to cover a couple different pages. So, and if you look at page 2, which is labeled as Schedule A, this is the back-looking or your historical expenses and revenues of the utility. The one thing I really wanted to point out is for 2025, so that's your last calendar year, if you go to line 34, you did end up with a negative 29,608. So that means you did end the year in the red. What the prior 2 years you were in the black at 73,769 and 32,528. But the one thing I did want to point out is what really masked your revenues or any shortfalls is over the last couple of years since you had the growth at the subdivision, you had 149,900 of tap fees come in. So that really helped in the current year not make that loss as bad as it could have been. And in the prior year, you got 153,000. That's what really helped. I don't want to say hide, but it didn't. It wasn't very obvious or very apparent that a rate increase was immediately needed because your cash balance were kind of holding steady. On paper, your revenues were looking okay. But the issue with these tap-on fees, they're not recurring, right? When there's construction, when there's new homes, that's great. The money's coming in. But as this subdivision is getting built out, those are going to dry up. So from a rate viewpoint, we usually don't keep those revenues in. We pull those out because they're not recurring. They're not. You can't expect them to always come in because from a revenue and expense standpoint, if there's no growth, there's no tax fees. So that kind of leads me into Exhibit B, which is page 4. This is what's called the revenue requirement. This is really the nuts and bolts of the entire rate study. If you look at the first 5 lines, this is the 4 lines, this is the calculation of what's called the gross revenue requirement. What that means, this is the minimal operating revenues that you need to have in your utility in order to break even. So if you look at the test year, and this does not count non-operating, so this doesn't count a lot of capital needs and different things. If you look at the test year, if you look at the different pro forma scenarios, on line 4, I pause, let me rephrase that. If you look at the test year, the gross revenue requirement was 574. And it does come down to a net increase that was needed for the test year of 158,345. That's line 9. So that kind of goes back to what we were talking about. If you look on the page prior, or the couple pages prior, when we talked about 149,900 tap fees coming in, that kind of overshadowed or hid the fact that there was kind of a revenue shortfall from your metered sales. The 158 is pretty close to that number. These revenues, this revenue requirement does not include those tap fees. So what I did then was we took, for instance, on line 1, we took your operating expenses. For the test year, it's 513,310. We made all the known and measurable changes. That's the increases for staffing and taxes and insurance and all those things. And we came to 531,795. So that's saying kind of in the next year to 2 years, that's where we believe your operating should be. Then we added in there your current debt, because you do have the loan that's about $40,198 a year in debt service. And then we added a line that's called extensions and replacements. So that's the different capital needs. And that's where the different pro forma scenarios are kind of rolling in. We have 5 different levels of capital needs. Brian and I discussed this, and he said that over the next 5 years, he really sees $1 to $1.2 million of needed just for different improvements, everything from equipment to infrastructure that the utility is going to need. So because of that, I kind of built 5 different scenarios that shows to bring the money in what the rate impact would be. Scenario 1 is a 10K ENR, so that's just saying you kind of have a bare minimum, 10,000 coming in to help pay for these capital needs. Then scenario 2, I upped that to 50,000. Scenario 3, 100,000, and then scenario 4, that's the full 200,000 to kind of fund that full 1.2 million. And what you'll see as you go through the calculation of the revenue required, add up the expenses, back out the recurring revenues, and then come to what the net increase will be. For just the minimum, I'm calculating 34.15%, and that's really just to operate. If you continue forward without any increase, you're gonna keep operating at a deficit, and you're gonna keep using reserves. For the other three scenarios, those can be phased in. You don't have to do that now. You can kind of phase that in over the next couple of years, but if you did choose to go that direction, you just have to be cognizant to the idea that you're gonna have to match what expenses and what capital needs you fit within that phase-in period. The other thing that is gonna be happening in, I thought I wrote it down, I believe it's the end of 28. I apologize, I usually have this written down. The $40,000 loan will be maturing. It's a 1/1/28, so that would be an extra $40,000 coming into the utility. So from a capital plan and capital standpoint, that would be an extra bit of money that's coming in that would be available to help pay for these needs. That was a lot of words. I'm really open to questions, but that's really the nuts and bolts of everything. Happy to take questions, go over anything in any extra detail.
If you guys don't have any questions for him, our next steps will be to draft, in coordination with Bob, the ordinance to pass rate increase. And we have to have a public hearing for one, so we haven't had a rate increase since 2018. I think that's a little bit of the problem, and if I'm summing
Yes.
Bob's major points, that as I see it, the development of the town has helped offset the costs of its utility.
Yeah.
Correct.
So he used the word hit. I think that's a good word to use. Economic development helped the town keep the rates as low as it could for as long as it could, but we're running out of development
Right.
And I would add to that, if it wasn't for the development, you would need an extra, we're estimating an extra $20,000 of revenue coming in next year. Without that, you would need a higher percentage increase. So that development is helping keep it down, but it's just because you haven't had a rate increase since 2018. We had those years of hyperinflation, in the early 20s, where you were able to maintain your rate. But if you didn't have development, you probably would have been raising it 2-3 times during that period. So instead of sitting here saying you need a 34%, maybe we'll be looking at a 5 to 10%, but your rates would be higher right now. So it's the good, the bad, it's just kind of what happened.
Do you know from your experience, how often do municipalities usually raise their rates?
Usually I recommend every 3 to 5 years.
3 to 5 years.
Rates are not meant to be, definitely not since 2018, that's getting on a longer end. If you're in a place where there's a lot of growth, usually more commercial growth, residential growth helps, but they don't quite have the consumption of water to really move the needle. It would have to be really, really big subdivisions or really big apartments. That can hold off the need for a rate increase, because you just have that extra money coming in. But yet, typically, 3 to 5 years is usually the normal.
Yeah, I think we definitely need to get on moving forward with this if we're already running negative, so.
So nothing now other than you can direct town attorney to coordinate with CPA advisor to finalize or draft an initial ordinance for approval of next month's meeting.
I do have a question, just
Sure.
for clarification. When we're looking at, I want to make sure that if I'm asked, and we're going to be asked, I want to be able to explain accurately the rate increase. So like, as it shows here, let's say the worst case, if we're looking at the 200K or the 3265 increase, you're saying that's a $32 monthly average increase for a bill that was already $74?
No, I'm saying that is the bill for that. Your current average bill for a residential user of 3,600 gallons is $41.54. So I'm saying that bill is going to go up by $32.65, so the bill will be $74.20.
Okay.
It's the proposed bill less the current to the increase.
Yeah,
No, I can see
No,
how
I
that's.
just, I'd like to meet the person getting the $41 monthly bill, because it's not my house, I can tell
They
you.
don't exist, they don't exist.
Yeah. And again, it's important
average.
that the,
What happens with the average is a lot of times you get
No, it makes-
you
it
get the
makes-
smaller homes or the single livers, the senior citizens who a lot of times are at the minimums, so that pulls down the average.
no, I've got a
But you get-
17 and an 8-year-old, or
Yeah,
18-year-old
there
in
you
my
go.
house,
So
so
that's
it's,
gonna drive
it's
you way
ridiculous. No, it's important that the public understands that whether we like it or not, we are affected by this rate increase as well as citizens, and it's very unfortunate. And I don't know if you have the information, but as you said, we haven't raised rates since 2018, and the unfortunate part is in 18, it went up 40% due to probably 20 years worth of people trying to be heroes, just to be frank, and not raise rates, and then they head out, and here we are with a dilapidated system.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, what should have happened is minimal increases over those years instead of getting slapped in the face at 40.
Yeah.
This is not good, it's not convenient, we have to do something, so we should, yeah, I mean, again,
And what you can do too is if you're increasing your meter sales to where it needs to be, when you're having these non-recurring charges like these tap-on fees and your capacity fees coming in, you can move those to your depreciation fund. So then you have a pot of money when you have these projects that come in that's already set aside. But unfortunately, where you were at, you need that money to operate, right? You need that money to pay salaries, to pay the purchase water bill and everything. And
no, I just want, again,
yeah,
and rightfully so, the public, when they find us, will have questions about how it affects them. I wanna be able to answer it accurately, but the bottom line is it affects all of us, and it's unfortunate, but we have to, everything gets more expensive. No one should be shocked that rates go up.
Right.
But we need to be better at doing it more frequently
Yeah.
and in smaller amounts than we have over a
Yeah.
very long time. So,
I do think it's worth mentioning for the public record too, that Princess Lakes, who we get our water from, also just did an increase, so that's part of our,
I was just,
yeah, we're affected.
yeah,
We're
I
affected
mean-
by a lot of things that people may not understand to get to where we are.
that's definitely something worth mentioning too, I think, though, that can lead to us being in the red.
The other thing I would point out too is on page 9, that it's Appendix A of the report, that's a comparison from how you compare to other municipalities kind of in the area. And you'll see right now you're below Indian American, you're kind of right in the middle. Even at that worst case scenario, you're gonna move up to, you'll still be, you won't be the highest, you'll be below Nashville, but you'll still be one of the higher in the area, so. But I just wanted to point that out. I always think that's good information to just know where your rate is compared to other utilities kind of in the area.
So Whiteland is not under Indiana American then?
No.
They're a wholesale buyer from Indiana American.
Okay, so, all right.
So, yeah. Well, they're like us with Princess Lake.
Yeah, no, that makes
We buy
sense.
from
I get it.
Princess Lakes, they buy from Indiana American.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, again, and just a little bit of history, a couple of years ago, we entertained, we spoke with agencies about potentially selling the utility, and there was very little benefit to it, and there was very little, if any, potential savings with that either. We lose the ability to make this decision if we do that, to be honest with you. And they raise it to whatever they want to,
I
whenever
was
they
just
want.
gonna say, I can't tell you what they would do when they purchase the utility, because I have no control.
Correct, yeah, no
What
one
I can tell you
does.
is they're not gonna operate at a loss, I can tell you that.
But I know that we don't have a say anymore.
Yep, and you also lose a say.
So,
And you
okay.
lose any customer service that you have, you're now calling to wherever their headquarters are, and every 18 months, there's a new rate study, or new rate case in front of the IURC, because they change their rates as often as they can.
All right.
Comment to add, so we talked about the worst case scenario with the 1.2 million.
Yeah.
That's incorporating best case scenario for Trafalgar overall. That's heavy infrastructure investment. So that included a very large expense to do a redundant loop system through the town that we don't have. So many probably in the room have experienced when we need to work on the water system, we're shutting off halves of the town. We don't have the ability to shut a valve and divert the water because we don't have a loop system. So it's either you're shutting down the north end or the south end. That's our options right now. So when we talk about $1.2 million, so by all means, that recommendation that he's based the study off of, feel free to pick that apart with me at any time. We've lived this long without it. If that means the ratepayers are gonna have to pay for something like that, maybe we decide we don't need to do it.
And an option always is too, you could, have you worked with any engineers?
We're working with them.
Yeah, as I say, you can always put a PER together, and we can look into maybe doing a financing with the SRF or something for the larger pieces of that, so we can stretch that out over 20 to 35 years. And that could, you have extra costs and interest and everything, but that from a ratepayer standpoint, that could help too. But the smaller things, I know you talked about meter change out, some equipment, you would wanna pay for that more through your rates,
Yeah.
cause the short-term life of those assets, there's not a big benefit of financing if you don't have to.
And that's included as well, so I forget our meter users, 800?
Sounds about right, yeah.
800 meters, they will expire, their useful life will expire here in the next few years. They've been installed so long, they're gonna expire. They may continue to work, that's great, we hope so. But their warranty and their time, their life expectancy will be gone. We may have to purchase and replace 800 meters. Other municipalities around us are doing it, Princess Lakes is doing it right now. So it's a very real topic, it was all incorporated in this. So like I said, it's.
And that's since we installed all of those, the new readables?
Yes.
Those are
so
the ones?
The batteries in them, the
Yeah.
mechanics in it, well, they're not mechanical, they're electronic. The
Right.
electronics in them, their useful life is only so long. And then, like, it's, let's say 7 to 10 years, but that doesn't say they don't last 30.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just, we did prepare that if we need to start replacing in a sweep. So by all means, don't feel like we're obligated to do $1.2 million in upgrades. We can pick that apart.
That was meant to be a worst case scenario. That was
Absolutely
meant, that was
worst case
meant to kind of just give the options and the availability. Yeah, and for the meters, what a lot of people do is they'll build up a meter program, right? So their plan, you have 800 meters, so what you plan to do is replace every so many years, so you're not struck with 800 that kind of fall off at the same time. So maybe every 4 years you replace a third of them or something along those lines, and you kind of just build that into your rates, and you're always setting money aside, so you just always have that money set aside. Difficulty is just setting the rates and getting there, and creating the plan.
Okay, so I need to do what kind of motion?
You can just make a motion to direct the attorney, town manager, and CPA to draft an initial ordinance proposing new rates based on the information that has been provided this evening. You guys will talk about, well, I'll say this, you'll likely get some public feedback,
Absolutely, we will.
right?
Yeah.
So.
Probably before you leave,
Probably, yeah.
before you walk out of this
So,
building.
you know, an ordinance, we should introduce the ordinance next month, and then we
Okay.
should revise it in accordance with how you guys have heard from the public, what they want. We'll have a public hearing, and then the
So
following
the public
month-
hearing will just be a part of our March town council meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then in April, we'll see an ordinance that passes rates effective, we probably talked about this, rates effective probably June 1, new rates would be my guess.
Okay.
That's just my timeline in my mind. If we can last that long.
You want to speak to it, so we're gonna make it. You want to touch on it?
I mean,
Alright.
there's not that much fast, I mean, the timetable is a timetable, but, if you're adopting, so you wanna introduce in March, adopt in May, and just have it,
Introduce March, we can introduce in March and adopt in April, I guess we could have.
oh yeah, April, I'm sorry.
May 1, but that's as quick as we can do it.
Without a special meeting. I
Right,
mean,
without a special meeting.
Yeah. The only other option would be, you'd have to do a special meeting, that's the only other real option, but you have to do it in 2 meetings.
Yeah, I hate doing special meetings.
Yeah, I know.
Right,
You and me both.
I wasn't saying you need that, I was just saying that's really the only other option.
yeah. So, but certainly for next month, certainly March, we'll have an initial draft here. We'll have an initial public hearing. And then if it's decided at that point that you guys have sufficient feedback that you wanna do end of March special meet, or, you know, beginning of April special meeting and have rates effective quicker, you know,
I was gonna let you know, I'm out of the country on the 19th, already scheduled prior to this hearing conversation, just to make that clear.
I bet you are.
So, just if it's gonna be on the regular night, I'm not here, I'm just saying it's,
It's okay, we know what everyone's gonna say.
Donna, what's your billing cycle?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't do anything with the utility billing.
Okay, cause
Do you
usually
know
it's the
that,
best, it's
Is
the
it like
easiest.
28 days?
This week was
Usually it's the easiest to have, is to have the rates effective at the end of the billing cycle, right? So if we, let's say hypothetically, the timeline is, we hold the special meeting, we hold the public hearing and introduce the ordinance in March, adopt in April, it would just depend on when the April meeting is during that billing cycle, cause you don't want to get into a situation where you're doing partial rates, that gets
And I
very
do
confusing.
know that, once you pass a new, ordinance to increase the rates, I believe it takes Keystone about 30 days to build that into the system
Yeah.
for the billing cycle, so you have to keep
Okay.
that in mind as well.
Could we say that the rates would be effective immediately upon passing, and then just build it into the next billing cycle, or?
The
Okay.
April
I don't-
meeting
I mean,
happens
that
to
would
fall
be-
on the
that-
16th.
That's a big if, and that's sort of like ghost polling your town council, right? You know, I'd come in knowing what exactly they're gonna vote, and I don't, because they haven't heard from the public yet, they haven't
Yeah, okay.
reviewed the ordinance,
No, yeah,
so,
well,
so,
well,
so
I,
to direct Keystone to do.
no,
X,
no,
Y,
I'm
Z,
sorry,
or-
maybe I can't. I meant, so then immediately upon passage of the, so if the resolution is adopted, if the rates become effective immediately, that means Donna could then start moving immediately. Or maybe effective next billing cycle or something.
Yeah, right.
Instead of a
something like that.
date.
Sure,
I guess that's
sure,
what I was
yeah,
saying.
yeah, okay, yep, I got you, I think that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, so
no-
maybe
no
just say
reason to
next
do that.
billing cycle, so then you can get Keystone started on it immediately. You can maybe just even give them a heads up, it could be coming. Maybe not.
Shouldn't be too hard, right, so, we'll work it out, nonetheless, it'll be next month. Unless you guys wanna have a special meeting. In early March, Jason, you're available,
I am. I'm going the 16th to the 22nd, so you work around that.
so maybe we
I'd
do.
be
a-
happy to.
Maybe we do an early March, I need 10 days,
Get
3
them.
days to get to the paper, I think, or 4 days at this point, 10 days.
To do the first reading and the hearing? Is that what
to
you're
the hearing,
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
10-day public
You have
notice.
10 days notice for a public hearing on this. So we're, that already puts us to February 29th, if it was published today.
Yeah,
Which is not that.
I'm fine to just do it on the regular.
You move to February 29th.
Huh?
We can't.
February 29th.
Yeah, there is no 29th.
Yeah,
Or is there this
hey,
year? I don't
all right,
know.
all right, why
I
don't you do
guess.
that then?
Is there this year?
Sorry, I'm just looking real quick. I work the 4th, the first week of March, that's it. I have that Wednesday I work, otherwise I'm off the rest of that week if you wanna try to put something
Okay.
on the first week of March.
Ashley?
Yeah, I can do anything. The evening's better, of course.
Okay.
No, we should definitely have it in the evening, I mean,
Yeah, so people can be here.
yeah.
Jackie, what's your calendar look like while we're on?
The first week of March.
I don't know. Depends on what my hip says.
What'd you say?
I'll mark you down for available. And we'll talk with Jeff,
Brian, do you know if Mike's gonna be back then?
Mike will not be back until the 4th of March.
Well, we could do the 5th. It's another Thursday, it would just be earlier than our normal meeting.
I'm sorry. The 4th, no, I'm sorry, Mike is out until the 4th of April.
he's gonna miss the whole thing.
Yeah, well, it's very unfortunate for Mike. Then in,
So we'll chat with Jessica.
whatever, yeah, whatever she can do, I guess, leave it at. Like I said, I'm good for anything but the 4th.
All right, and Bob, we'll loop you in.
Okay.
If you wanna be here.
I mean,
Oh, you'll wanna be
You're
here.
gonna
I would
wanna be
imagine
here for
either me,
sure.
or either Jim Higgins or myself will be, 'cause I know on the 3rd I have a meeting already,
Okay.
but, if that's.
Jim
the-
can
if-
be, he'll
Just lives right down the street, exactly.
He can be here.
Yeah, so if one of us could be here for sure.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you guys.
thanks.
All right, we need to,
You're welcome to stay
Thank you.
or not, I wouldn't.
thanks for explaining that.
I got a 4-year-old at home.
All right, we need to appoint local board of finance.
You appoint all members.
What is it?
So local board.
I'm sorry, I can't hear out of my
That's
right
right,
ear.
I know. Wait, I know, we need to switch things up
I
here. Local board of finance is one of those seldom used boards that we're required to have, and it's to deal with investments of the town.
Oh, yes.
Don has
I
been doing a
remember
good
this.
job of
Yeah.
investing some funds, and we had to create the Board of Finance in order to direct Donna to invest the funds.
Yeah.
And that's what we've done, and we just need to continue to operate the local Board of Finance. The membership expires after 1 year, so you just need to reappoint everybody here,
Okay,
including yourself.
okay.
Uh,
The three
or-
of us?
3 of you plus Jessica and Mike.
Oh, okay.
So, just like Jason did in the RDC meeting, just say, I'm gonna go ahead and appoint.
Can I do all five of us at once?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to appoint Ashley Cheney, Jason Ramey, Jackie Bryant, Mike Peters, and Jessica Jones to the local Board of Finance.
Hey, thank you.
Was that everything? Did you miss anything?
Who did I miss?
I think
that was it.
Alright, that was 5.
I talk fast.
It's good. And then you need to schedule a meeting. So I suggest prior to the next town council meeting.
Okay, at like 5:45?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we'll go ahead and schedule a local Board of Finance meeting at 5:45 on March, what day is it?
Well, the 19th is the regular meeting, the
March-
scheduled meeting.
March 19th,
So,
Correct.
yeah, I'd keep it at that.
5:45. All right, now we need to, is that all for that? Do we need to-
Yes.
Okay.
that's
All right, now we have resolution 2026-002, a resolution of the town council of the town of Trafalgar, Indiana, amending the town of Trafalgar employee handbook regarding the utilities clerk position and other matters, to be
So-
supplied by Jacob.
Yeah, so, and I've supplied it to everyone here.
Oh, here.
I don't want you guys to approve this tonight. It's not ready. It's 14 pages, single-spaced. It makes a lot of changes to the employee handbook.
Okay,
Some of them are just clarification matters. Some of them relate to vacation time, accruals, holidays, etc.
okay,
And these suggestions are more or less to tighten the belt a little bit as we move forward into an unknown time with property tax relief. And these are just my suggestions. I've spoken a little bit with Brian on some of these, but most of them are mine, in cost-cutting measures. So take a look. Email me your thoughts.
Okay.
And we'll have a more complete copy of the resolution, hopefully for next month,
okay.
to put on the agenda and pass. But I really do need your thoughts on this.
You really want it,
I really want your thoughts on it,
really want our thoughts.
okay?
Remember, you asked for this.
I want them.
Okay.
You've
Do you
got my
guys have any
email.
questions for Jacob?
Not yet.
You will.
And he wants them.
And I want 'em.
Easy
Thanks.
enough. But do you mean, do you prefer just an email response from individuals?
Email's better.
Okay.
Okay, we are gonna move on to authorization for the town council president to enter into memorandum of understanding with RDC for operations of the community center.
I'll make a motion to allow the town council president to enter a memorandum of understanding with the RDC president to solidify operations of the community center.
I'll second that. Oh, motion made and second. Sorry, I forgot I was doing it. Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, that is passed 3-0. Okay, so we need to schedule an executive session to discuss pending litigation. I mean, are we,
We don't have to schedule an executive session. I would prefer to have a meeting to discuss some litigation matters with you all.
I just don't
to.
have any idea what Jessica's availability is, and obviously Mike's out, so.
You could table it. Litigation takes a long time. We're at the,
Okay,
Notification phase. which-
right,
Yeah, we've got
an
time.
extension of time phase.
okay,
So we've
yeah,
got-
I would like to wait till we have a more full council to discuss that.
Okay, perfect.
So we'll revisit that next month. If you just wanna like send me some of your available dates, since you won't be at the next meeting.
Yeah, that's fine, I can, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be next month. I mean, it could be in April or May.
Okay.
We've got plenty of time.
Okay, we have this Access Johnson County, we usually donate to them. $13.64. Do you have comments?
I'll make a quick comment on that. So, we had a development meeting this week with Gratis, and, we're gonna modify the plans. They were not aware of the access bus service here.
Okay,
Judy did call over, we were curious. We called over 3 weeks ago to ask about the attendance, the utilization of the access bus. It actually is utilized quite heavily.
where's it even at?
Anywhere you wanna go. So,
No, but where do they pick them up?
at your
Oh.
home.
At your house.
Yeah.
It's not a bus stop,
There's
like
a lot
it,
of people here in town that, that use the access bus.
okay,
So it will come to your house, it will take you to a friend's house, it will take you to the grocery, it will take you to the doctor's office. So Gratis actually is going to allocate a dedicated space, a parking space, for that bus to kind of live in here. It's not a bus
Sweet.
stop, but just for their residents to utilize it, the
Yeah.
55 and over community. They're gonna kind of lean into the access. And they did that in a neighboring, area that they have another facility.
Yeah.
And the office actually ended up moving into Gratis's development. So that could be an option for access in the future. So just to give you that, to tell you that where Gratis's heart is, their dedication to the community, and also that access is, like I said, we verified it, we were just kind of curious. But that's just recent data point, that it is heavily utilized here in Trafalgar.
okay, well, I'll make a motion to approve the donation to Johnson County, Access Johnson County for $13.64. Do you need a fund or anything?
I'll just use the same fund that I used from last year.
Use the same fund from last year, yes, thank you.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right, passed 3-0.
And Ashley,
Yes.
before I forget, I've got 4 invoices that, that we need to go ahead and do approvals on. These are not on the APV. First one is for Centus. It's in the amount of $243.08. And it's, half water and half wastewater. This is uniforms, Brian?
I'm sorry?
Is this uniforms, Centus?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve that invoice for $204,
$243.08.
$243.08, half out of water, half out of wastewater.
I'll second it.
Jackie seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, and then we have one for Taylorsville Tire, and, this was 2 tires, Brian? 2 tires and amount, yeah. And this would be from wastewater, in the amount of $695.14.
$695.14.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve that invoice to Taylorsville Tire for $695.14 out of wastewater.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
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 And this is an invoice for Taylorsville Tire for 2 tires in the amount of $695.14.
Is this, it's 2 different invoices though? Okay.
Well, I did question these because it's 2 invoices in the same
Yeah.
amount. But then Brian told me that they went and they had 2 tires put on, then they had to go back and had 2 more put on. So that's the reason the amounts are the same.
We tried to save money, and then we found out that when you put 2 new tires on the front of a plow truck and you plow snow, you ruin the 2 rear tires. So they all must be replaced.
A for effort.
We tried.
Because when I looked at these, I gave them back to him because I thought, is this did they double bill
I know, I was
us,
like,
or-
yeah, I just
yeah.
approved that, what do you do?
Right, so yeah, this one's the same thing, $695.14 from wastewater.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the second invoice to Taylorsville Tire for $695.14 to be paid out of wastewater.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, there you go.
The last one, we have invoices for Honey Creek, and there's 2 invoices. The first one, it's for, look like headlight connector and an LED capsule. These are from water, and the first one is for $110.67.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve that invoice for $110.57 to be paid out of the water fund.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 And the other one is for, looks like windshield washer, fluid in the amount of $29.94.
29.
$29.94.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the invoice of $29.94 to be paid out of the water.
Second.
Did you say second?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
That's right.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Alright,
That's it.
perfect. Brian, you're up.
All right. I guess I'll start off, I want to touch on the handbook resolution. So, we're being billed to work through this resolution. It was initiated by who?
This resolution? This is part of the utility clerk. Most of it. Some of it's not.
There, and I
Is there
guess
suggestions for thought type?
the resolution was to add to, and, so page 8. So that helps, that maths, right? Because we said we need to do this to accommodate the new work hours and our benefits and such. So I just want to make sure we were clear about who initiated this. That makes sense. But I guess I just want to point to this, that page 8, you know, we can talk about shedding some holidays that are paid, right? But part of this, what this appears is that utility billing clerk would receive no paid holidays. The way this is currently drafted, which I know it's up for discussion. Is that the way I'm reading this?
No.
Okay.
This
Did
is-
you say yes?
No,
He disagrees.
this is shed some holidays. The utility clerk will have the same holidays as everybody else.
Okay.
That's how it will read, or that's how it
Does it
should
read
read.
currently? And I'm just skimming this, and I wanna ask you these questions while we're here.
Yes. It reads, if you go to page 10, go to vacation, you see I've changed some things. This is something we dealt with because we had employees that were starting in like October and didn't have vacation for October, November, December, and
Yes.
then had another year after that to get to January.
It fixes that overlap.
So that fixes that, but, so that's what that bold portion is there. Turn the page again to page 11. And this is where it will strike the language for holiday pay, I'm sorry, not holiday pay, for utility clerk utility clerk will receive the same holidays as everybody else, essentially.
I'm still not seeing that. So I read.
And maybe I missed it.
Utility clerk shall, okay, I'm sorry. Temporary or part-time employees are not entitled to vacation benefits. The utility, page 11. The utility clerk shall only be entitled to 76 hours of paid vacation time, regardless of how many years he or she works for the town. And so maybe the intent was they could utilize those hours to cover those days, but I know that in our discussion was to basically make that person feel part of the team, and that position.
So that's my mistake.
Yeah.
So that's something that I've missed. My
Okay.
intent was she will have the same holidays as everybody else.
As all the other employees.
How many hours a week does she work?
Well,
We
that was
bumped it.
another portion of this, is bumping
Yes.
it up to 38, is that what we decided?
I'll have to confirm.
I see that in one section where, I mean, it shows 38 in here at one point.
Yeah.
Isn't like 32 hours considered full-time?
No.
No?
No,
So
we went
this
from
is,
29.5 to 30.
so but this is the interesting part of it.
Okay.
So, looking into it a little bit more, the town just doesn't meet the town can set its own full-time, part-time requirements, right?
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Under the Internal Revenue Code, we don't meet the threshold for number of employees that X amount of, you know, if we have 50-plus employees that, and one of those employees works 35 hours, that person's automatically full-time and is entitled to certain benefits. We don't meet that threshold. Because we don't meet that threshold, we set our full-time, part-time to whatever we really want it to be. Now, there are different requirements. If you hit FLSA requirements at 40 hours, then you have to pay that regardless. But from the benefits perspective, I read it as we're under 50, we can decide who's full-time, part-time, whatever you label that person, you can give them whatever benefits that the town feels comfortable providing
And
or not providing. There are some exceptions.
The 38 wasn't a requirement okay, so,
Uh-huh.
yeah, because we
I
went.
mean, you can set the hours to, my reading, to whatever you
Okay,
want.
yeah, we went from 29 and a half to 30,
Okay.
and then started the new, in these amendments, but then this would be increasing the 30 to 38.
Up to.
Up to, so, I guess I'll just.
So that gives you flexibility in scheduling. If you've got 30 hours or 32 hours for the part-time utility clerk, and that's built into the budget, and she's here, and she's or he or she is here and working for that time, you can set that, so long as it fits in with the town council's approved budget and salary ordinance, up to 38 hours.
Up to, okay. And I'm skimming again, I wanted to point these things out while we're all here together, so we don't get to do this outside of this room. So, I read it as, it would move it to a 38-hour required work week. But it sounded like it could say up to, but I do wanna make sure that we're mindful of that we went from 29 and a half to 30, we didn't go to 38.
And you can schedule it to whatever you want.
Okay, and I didn't know if we could, I didn't know if the 38 was triggered by FLSA.
I have a copy of that.
Sure.
So what holidays are we losing, or possibly losing,
Proposed.
proposed to be losing?
Good Friday, Columbus Day, Veterans Day.
Because we're, sure. Can we do that?
So any questions, skimming it, I wanted to address it while we were here together, and point those things out. So it looks like we maybe did catch a miss.
That's fine. This is very rough draft.
Okay.
Very preliminary.
Very rough.
Yeah, absolutely, and
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
Well,
but I'm looking
I
at your
didn't know.
finances, and I'm seeing 4 years from now, you guys are in big trouble.
unless we see development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Something to offer too, and I've said it for years, to be honest with you, and I would preface it by saying, we pay Jacob and these guys every bit of what they're worth, they do a great job. But there is probably some substantial cost savings involved in not having 8 people contacting attorneys and/or different attorneys, mind you, over situations that could be handled a lot more easily or in-house.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna throw that out there. Again, Jacob sees me when I'm here, or if he happens to call me. That's why we have people in place to handle things on a daily basis. There shouldn't be 5 council people, 4 employees, and anybody else contacting attorneys frequently enough that we're doing things like this on a regular basis. But again, I wanna make clear, they're not gouging us on prices. They are worth every bit of what they do, and they get paid for what they do. I just think we ask a little bit too much of them at times for things that could be handled otherwise. And it's been like this for the 12 years I've been here, just to be clear. So, just something to keep in mind as we're looking at cost savings, there are others as well.
Yeah. And I know Jacob's made a lot of effort in that. We've.
Again, yeah, they write off stuff. Again, I wanna be clear that I'm not saying we're paying for something we shouldn't be. I just think that we overutilize it at times. Or duplicate things that could have been managed through a smaller channel to get the same result faster and cheaper. So,
Taking away holidays and benefits of employees, I don't see it.
I've seen this for the first time, heard of it honestly for the second time, so we'll look at it very thoroughly, trust me.
So I will jump off that, but thanks for clarifying that. Like I said, skimming it, reading it, I just didn't know we were required to meet, if these were minimums to base from, so thank you.
yeah, that's
Okay,
my reading.
thank you.
And this, again, it's a draft.
Sure, yes, yes.
He wants your email with your comments.
No, that costs money. We're gonna handle it here.
Or you can handle it here, I don't care.
And that's why I asked here, while we're here. So I'll just jump into a couple highlights. Been a real challenging few weeks. There's a lot of really incredible things. I don't want, and I guess I'm just gonna I'll start on the lows. We have a clarifier issue at the wastewater facility. It's going to be a large repair, a large project. We don't know yet. We just met with Westler today to explore our options. We're working with Commonwealth about options. We're calling around. Wastewater is a very niche it's just a niche business. There's not a lot of people to call. So when you have a problem, there's one person in the state. You know, we call other municipalities. We have a great relationship with our municipalities around us. We're out of options currently, but just full disclosure, we're working on it. It's nothing to be concerned with. It's just there's gonna be an incoming expense. We don't know what it's gonna look like. And it's anything from a replacement of an O-ring to a replacement of a gearbox, including a crane. So we don't know where we're at on the scale. of repairs.
My ignorance on this whole system out there is no surprise, but this wasn't something that was replaced and redone during this upgrade?
This is a brand new. Yes.
Okay.
The generator transfer switch also had a failure this week as well. We are able, we're tracking the storm this evening, but we are able, we contacted InPower Electric, former Berry. They're great to us. We contacted them. They came out and got us safe. And we're able to go out there and manually switch over. So if we do lose power this evening, someone will report to the plant. We will switch over the power manually to keep the plant running. But we did have a generator transfer switch fail, and that again is a new piece of equipment, and it's probably not a cheap fix. So we're doing the best we can. Like I said, we've had a lot of challenges lately. So on to the good, I guess. I just wanted to be full disclosure on those items. The vac truck, I know Mike Peters is not here, but I know Mike really wants to see the vac truck back operational. We are probably 2 weeks away from having a working, running vac truck. So I think I briefed it last month, but Nathaniel's been out there with the best equipment, and we met today. Things are going really well. So we're getting ready to have a vac truck that's gonna empower our staff. Jeff Stuckey's a CDL holder. It's fantastic. It's gonna be great to internalize that work, save money. Amphitheater, we may be moving dirt as early as next week. We're trying to wrap a few things up engineering-wise and permitting-wise, so once we're there, we're a go. So we're gonna start seeing a whole lot more activity there in the amphitheater space. Excited to see that grow and learn through the process. I mentioned earlier we met with Gratis. We had an incredible meeting with Gratis, and I just wanted to make a mention of it, that it just really solidified. I know that when we met with Gratis last year, they showed good intent that they want to be a part of this community and give back and be involved and be included. And they really have presented that through the planning process. So just grateful to them. The facility's gonna be fantastic. Something that was kind of neat that I learned from the meeting, there will be a walking trail, a paved walking trail around the grounds of the facility, and it will be named after his grandmother. So it's things like that. You know, he has that kind of investment in that property. So, and they're leaning into the access bus. Busy times, so I'm currently working on our insurance renewals. Nothing expected, no crazy scary numbers. So the insurance renewal is a lengthy process. Capital assets ledger, working on that as well. They kind of go hand in hand, so capital assets ledger touches on how many manhole lids we have in town. So your insurance policy is more of what are your vehicles, what are your VIN numbers and such, you know, all your assets. But capital assets ledger is every pipe, every mile of pipe, every fitting, every hydrant, everything. So it's lengthy. I'm making it last longer than it should because I'm wanting to vet it. So it is on my to-do. Just
And I was gonna let you know, I'm gonna go ahead and submit the AFR. Now, the AFR, there's part of the AFR that deals with the capital assets. Go ahead and complete that because it hasn't been updated, like the PVC lines and things like this.
Yeah.
Since about 2018 or so?
I think it was prior.
Right,
And
or maybe it was.
Like the Durango's still on
Right.
it, right? So I can tell immediately there's inaccuracies on it.
Right.
So I guess let me know if you can't submit it.
So I'm gonna go ahead and submit the AFR. Then when you complete that, cause I keep the master copy of that. Then I'll go through your copy and update the master copy. Then I'll unsubmit the AFR and.
And that's okay.
But yeah, and that'll
I'm
be
gonna
fine.
try my best to keep you in your deadline.
Right.
I
Yeah,
glanced
no,
it
but
and I don't wanna just
I
check
was
the
gonna
box.
tell you just to, cause there's a lot on there. I mean, I added the community building, I added the new police car. There's some things on there that, for wastewater and water, that clearly need to be looked at.
Okay.
So, go ahead, and then I'm gonna go ahead and submit the AFR, and then once you complete that, and Bob Reynolds was the one that did this spreadsheet for us. It's awesome.
It's very,
Um,
very
it's-
in-depth. Like I
it's-
said, it's down to
yes.
how many feet of 4-inch pipe, 6-inch pipe, manhole lids, it's everything.
I mean, once you plug the numbers in, it depreciates the cost, or if you take like a vehicle out, then, I mean, and the numbers that I need are just on that first sheet for the AFR, so,
Okay. That's
well,
helpful. I wanted to let you know,
yeah.
I'm working really hard. It's
Okay.
just
Well, and
amongst
like
all
I
other,
said-
all other factors and daily operations
right,
and failures. There's also insurance renewal, capital assets ledgers to do, and then I had to pause for a few days, because we were declared a state of emergency for the snow. Wonderful opportunity. We were able to submit all of our expenses, our fuel, our hours, our salt, everything. I submitted that to the county to file for reimbursement. So I hope that goes through, but it all fell at the same time, so.
Lots of number crunching.
There's lots of number crunching going on. So, yeah, that's kind of the high level. I do have one item I want to touch on. Jacob, are you able to pull up the purchase policy? Just since we're here, again,
I'm sorry, what did you ask?
purchase policy, and I have it, just for reference. I just want to make sure that's another one I want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. It'll be under the equipment portion.
Can you just read it to me?
Okay, well, okay, I'll just lead into it. Just tell me if I'm right or wrong.
Okay.
So, we're trying to invest in our DPW, and we have a need for a lot of tools and a lot of equipment and a lot of things just overall. An opportunity was provided to us, offered by Piercefield Contracting, who we use for a lot of our work. They are liquidating multiple pieces of equipment. Well, it kind of started, we met with Edinburgh. Edinburgh offered us a broken down dump truck and a broken backhoe. We looked at it, it wasn't a good move. It was gonna be a $15,000 purchase, it needed a $13,000 transmission, plus labor, plus anything else. We backed out, which led to another discussion. Pierceville's liquidating some of their equipment. They loaned us a backhoe that we used for snow removal. And it's not new, but it's not a piece of junk. They've offered to let the town purchase that. So that to be said, the conversation's been going back and forth. Jacob and I have touched on it briefly, and Ashley, we've discussed this a little bit as well. I don't need a decision, I just want to talk about it as a group. Per the purchase policy, it looks like between 10 and 50,000, sole discretion of town manager to purchase equipment without seeking any other sources. That's how it's worded, if that's correct. So I want to get your feedback, and Jason, I know you, when we talked about police vehicles before, you were kind of like, we don't want used, we want new. Things like this, I'm asking for feedback here. We don't have indoor storage facility to keep this piece of equipment in. It might fit in the barn, but it might not, so it might sit outside more than other pieces. So should we invest in a $50,000, $68,000 backhoe? If we're gonna buy a backhoe, or should we invest in a $20,000 to $22,000 backhoe that's reliable and can get the job done? So it's just kind of a question. I just wanted your feedback. I didn't want to make these kinds of decisions on my own.
Did you say that it would have to sit outside?
It may. We may be able to make room in the barn, maybe, but the barn is full. And there's some equipment that we need to get out of there as well. We need to go trade it in or just sell it outright. It's equipment we don't utilize anymore. So, but in the event it needs to sit outside, I don't want to go buy a $68,000 backhoe and just park it outside. I think it's irresponsible.
I wouldn't want to see that happen.
So,
No, I mean, again, there's, careful not to offend anyone, there's a difference in reliability and prioritizing a police car
Yes.
versus a backhoe. If we have a backhoe go down, it's probably not gonna be life-changing immediately, but there's, when we have one officer on duty, if we're rolling them around in 10-year-old vehicles, that's a risk. So I still want to make sure that we get it, if you know of a mechanic who can, I happen to know Piercefield, I know he maintains his equipment and he's working with us, but I would prefer, if we're going to purchase something used, that we do at least get a set of eyes of somebody qualified to just give it a run through and give us an honest opinion of any foreseeable problems. But yes, if we can get something for half or less of the cost of the new that's going to be adequate for our volume, and
Yeah.
that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
okay.
I just bought a scissor lift at the fire department and got it, it's old, but I wouldn't buy a used fire truck. So to me, it's the same thing. I mean,
Okay,
Sizzle Lift quits, we'll get it dealt with.
yeah. I knew you were passionate about that, and I kinda
Yeah.
I wanna get your feedback.
No, don't get me wrong, I would like you guys to have the best equipment possible that's affordable, but I guess I'll leave it at that too. If you and the users feel that it is adequate, that means more to me than my opinion on whether we should buy new or used equipment.
And
So
that was
if
a
your
factor.
guys are like, yeah, this is gonna be a great piece, it's gonna work for us, then that makes sense to me.
And and we had this kind of golden opportunity to test this piece of equipment out during snow removal, and it was told to us, it's reliable, and it is, it's very reliable. It's not ugly, it's not a piece of junk at all, but it's not new, right? But it's reliable. We've checked out for leaked out on hydraulic cylinders, does it have leaks and creaks? Yeah, but it's not new. At the same time, if we go spend $68,000 on the new one, there's other needs they have as well. So if we spend 20 to 22 on a used one, like you said, Jason, that gets the job done, and they are. I've asked the crew. They're comfortable with that. They know more about these than I do, especially Jeff. That might free up funds for other pieces of equipment they need. I don't want to utilize their entire budget to buy one piece when we need 3 or 4. So like I said, I wanted your feedback and your opinions on it, especially under the new versus used. That's kind of it. I just wanted to talk about it as a group.
You can buy it under 50. If we've adopted a small purchasing policy, that's where it's set.
Yeah.
So you don't have to solicit.
That's the way I read it. Like I said, I make a lot of decisions on my own every day, and I just don't mind every once in a
You
while
have
a
the
team
power.
up.
You have the power.
I don't like the power.
Is it a substantial are we getting a deal?
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah, I guess the question is, that same used piece of equipment, it costs what?
38. So, yeah. So I like to negotiate, but we're currently at 22. I'm not done negotiating. We're currently at 22, just in the conversation, high level conversation, to get on Facebook Marketplace. Equipment that you don't know the history of, you don't know who the owner is, they're 38. So 38 is going to be the equivalent of it on Marketplace. So substantial savings, yes. And we know it was a one owner. He purchased it from the one owner, so he's second owner, we'd be the third. Yeah. So I'm not saying we will. I wanted to talk about it, just touch on it, as we try to get these guys empowered, because they're getting excited. Today with the vac truck getting repaired, they're getting excited. They were talking about how the shop used to look when they first started here, and they've rebuilt things, and we're working with Ashley on making them feel more at home in their space with lockers and
A microwave.
a microwave. They
They don't have to eat cold food.
well, if they eat. But yeah, we're trying to invest in them and let them know that they're appreciated. So it's just all a part of trying to support them, but at the same time, I love saving $1. So yeah, I just want to talk about it openly and with the group.
Well, and that's another, I'm glad you mentioned that, that's another point I wanna make, it's not the deal breaker on any of this, but I do want them to also not get in the mindset that we only supply them used equipment, or, but again, that's why if they feel that it's a good purchase and it's a useful piece, then I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I had that conversation with them, and Joseph, the younger guy, he's like, the older stuff's better anyway. They don't make it as good as they used to.
That's probably true.
Yeah, they don't ask for much. They're pretty hardworking guys.
I once worked at an agency where we used to get all of their broken police vehicles, you know what I mean? They turned them over to us to see if they would make it, so that's not a good environment. But again, if they're fine with it, then I am, that's fine with me.
Okay. Yeah, like I said, that's major touch points I want to get on tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chief Roberts, come on down. You gotta speak up, because I can't hear out of my right ear, and you talk so soft.
Do I?
Yeah.
We've had a rather busy month of January, so if I can see on the second page, I believe it is, all the charges filed and the arrests were made. So give my shout to my guys for doing a good job on that. We hired 4 new reserves, as everyone knows. They went through some OC training last month at the firehouse. This month they're going to do taser training, so they're going to know what.
If you need any help with that, let me know.
Are you taking being a volunteer?
Huh?
Volunteer to get hit?
No, I'll shoot people though. I'll tase people.
Speaking of that, I was told that during the hand-to-hand class, that was specifically mentioned that they should just immediately tase me, and I'm mildly offended.
Your
Just
name
immediately
came up?
tase you.
Yeah, but anyway, they were joking. They said if you come up with a guy like that, then just go straight for the taser. I'm like, well, that's not fair. That's really not fair. So
You're trained in the arts.
I meant to tell you, I said, I'm gonna talk to them when I see them.
We have a couple people.
I've been
that-
told to be immediately tased. That's not fair.
No, that's a compliment for sure.
The 24 Tahoe is at Bradley. They're waiting on parts. They're replacing the headliner and the back glass. The latch on the back glass was broke. They replaced everything else that the street department pointed out, and I appreciate them looking over it. So I just want to let everybody know where that's at. I think that's all I had. Tornado's going south of us, apparently,
Perfect.
so we're good, hopefully.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jacob, you have anything else for us?
I do not. Nothing else.
Okay. All right, at this time, we will open up to the public for a total of 20 minutes. If anyone from the public has any comments, please come up, state your name and your comment. Nobody? Okay, we'll close the public comment and I'll make a motion to adjourn the town council meeting.
I'll second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, the meeting is closed as of 7:09.